Stephen Staber in studio now. Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
So you've been in the events business for almost 2 decades now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so give me your Reader's Digest summation of IMS. Was it as good an event as I thought it was?
I thought it was a great event. I thought that the maturity of the audience actually was one of the things that really surprised me. The level of knowledge of the audience and basically their grasp of what we were talking about and sort of the ability for the speakers to take the conversation to the next level, to me, was fascinating. You know, when we first started this, we started this as a new marketing summit, and then when we got together with HubSpot, we became the Inbound Marketing Summit. And as we started the event, it was really about training people on what's going on out there and training people on what's new and what's interesting. And there was still a lot of that there, but what you saw was a very mature audience who understood and now wanted to figure out, how do we take this to the next level? How do we really bring this and make this a part of what our company is all about? And the engagement, and I mean, the quality of speakers was just off the charts. It was great, and I think that really helped a lot. But the conversations that happen outside of the conference rooms and the conversations that happen in the hallway, those dialogues to me were what really took me to another level, because the language, it used to be a language issue. It used to be, let's talk about the language, let's get everybody on the same page in terms of what is inbound marketing, what is a content strategy, what's a content calendar, what's a content map, what are all these different tools, and how does Twitter play in, how does Facebook play in, and now what's Google Plus all about, and some of these other things. And it was a language conversation. Now the language was consistent, and now the dialogue here was more about sort of, how do we do this? How do we move this forward? How do we engage our company? And to me, that's where I thought it got to be very interesting.
So now let me put the screws to you. We're in this segment talking about lessons we learned from IMS last week. You're the CEO of this company. You're the visionary here. You got other people around you, but you're the guy at the top. We're going for your head when things go wrong. What did you get out of IMS that's going to help us with the Pulse?
What I got out of it was the stress on content. And the Pulse has always been about content and content creation. The stress here about companies, the thirst for content and the how-to. We as a company, we as the Pulse, are not doing a good enough job explaining to people how you can create content. And I think where we missed on IMS, if I would say there's one place we missed, is curating content and talking more about that and what that means. And we at the Pulse...
Be more specific.
As much as you, Butch Stearns, can talk about a topic, and I think it's interesting, more interesting is what you read and what you think we should pay attention to. The internet is full of content everywhere. Take Chris Brogan. Chris Brogan was on stage for 30 minutes. His speech was great. It was very interesting. My conversation with Chris was, as valuable as that was, what's more valuable to our audience is knowing what you think they should read. Because if you think that Seth Godin wrote a good piece, or Chris Penn wrote a good piece, or there's a good piece in Mashable, tell us and let us tell our community. And whatever company you are, you have experts that can curate content. So creation and curation of content is key. We at the Pulse, what I learned was we need to do a better job of not only demonstrating it, but explaining it and telling how it can happen and how you can make it easy, because it's easy, elegant, and efficient. Those are the 3 words that really came to mind after I was sitting there for 2.5 days. All
right, let's wrap it up. Is there one thing, I imagine there's several, I know from me, but is there one thing that you came out of those 2 days with that surprised you? That you came out saying, wow, I either never thought of that, or somebody blew me away with something that they said, or something that's sticking with you now, that's resonating with you from one person or one individual or one company?
What I liked was SEO and SEM are considered, search engine conversations are considered yesterday's business, and we always talk about them that way. The way that Dharmesh tied today's conversation to that and brought that full force and brought everything full circle, I thought was great. And that really stuck to me, because it's something that you don't spend enough time thinking about, because it's sort of, I've got my search stuff, I've got my inbound marketing stuff, I've got my lead gen stuff, and how does this tie together? And I thought he did a great job of bringing it all through, and I think if there was one thing to pay attention to, I'd pay attention to that.